everyone. Welcome back to Triforce. Thanks for joining us. Oh my gosh, it's been a week of interesting stuff.
One
happening.
full week.
A whole 7 days of
7
stuff.
solid days of non-stop action.
Rip-roaring, cracking,
thingery.
Hip slapping action.
Splashing in your face constantly, trickling down your neck. Just a week.
It's hard to believe that winter has hit. It's freezing cold. It's pouring with rain. My feet are wet.
All of a sudden, it's cold as hell outside. I had to put the heaters on in the house.
Oh no, you turned the corner.
To stop using the air conditioning in the garage. Like it's all.
But you're still wearing the shorts, right? Okay.
Obviously, yeah. But everybody's getting the sniffles and stuff. You know, the sudden change in climate is wreaks havoc on your immune system and all that kind of stuff. My daughter's had a little bit of a cold. She's been coughing a lot. She coughed so loud this morning that it woke the baby up, and I was very angry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an event. You know. Also, you've got Halloween is in a month's time, so stuff is appearing everywhere.
Yeah.
Halloween stuff is on TV and in shops, and your kids are going to be getting into that, I'm sure.
Halloweening, yeah.
And then it's only a stone's throw away from Christmas.
Last I checked, it was like 92 days.
And for our American and listeners, Thanksgiving, of course, is a big thing.
Yeah, the bridges, the bridges between the festivals get shorter from now on, and it's just going to be one thing after another.
It's because it's fucking winter. We need something. We need something to cling to.
Well, why isn't there anything good in January and February then, P-Flax?
Because we've had it all and we need to rest. And now it's back to work.
It's hibernation time.
You've had a year of cracking on. Like, also, I guess a lot of these are historical because there's not much farming to be done in the winter. You're basically just bedded down, living off whatever's in the silo. And whatever.
Interestingly, though, there are some crops that prefer the colder weather. You know, like some leafy greens can like thrive in like the colder months and stuff.
Right, but I mean, I'm talking about like farming, grain, and shit like that. Right?
Yeah.
I guess you come up with all these kind of festivals and shit to. I also think if you're running low on food, and your neighbors have got loads of food, organize a. Hey, have you heard about that festival where people go around to the house of the person who's got the most food and we eat loads of stuff and we all get a really good meal? Oh, yeah.
It's called a potluck.
Yeah,
you have to bring your own stuff.
Let's do that. Let's set the date. Late November. And we'll all come round to your house and we'll eat loads of food. Yeah, all right. If it's an actual traditional festival.
But isn't that the bread basket sort of Easter festival more like it's the end of winter
like Thanksgiving
and you've got to eat all of your
last
year's food? No, because there's actually a proper one, Harvest Festival, isn't it? Where
isn't that a religious thing?
I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm saying what we need is proper festivals in like January and February to keep people going through the winter months. I say this every year.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking we just need some joy in those terrible, miserable times.
I guess it's there's no point planning stuff for winter.
If you got any ideas,
half of you aren't going to make it through the winter. So
right.
Did you just say that half of us aren't going to make it through the winter?
That's correct. Yeah.
1.5 of us. Yeah.
Oh my god.
are not going to make it through this winter.
It's going to be a really tough one. Yeah.
One of us is going to be fine. One of us is going to be just
almost
a shell,
die, and one of us is going to die.
Yeah. I got my money on. Who's not going to make it?
It's me, isn't it? I'm going to go to Bucharest. I'm going to Bucharest. By the time this episode goes out, I will be deeply entrenched in TI in Romania.
The international.
I've written you off already. Yeah,
that's fine.
You're top of my list of people who aren't going to make it through the winter.
Yeah, they have a massive outbreak there. Several players have already come down with.
I think controversially with Bucharest, like wasn't it Bucharest during the Euro that just had a stadium packed full of people?
No, that was Budapest.
Oh, was that Budapest?
Yeah.
Oh, wrong boo.
Wrong pest.
Wrong boo, wrong pest. Yeah.
I'm impressed that a Dota player manages to catch COVID. Like they are famously isolationist. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's a team game, They eat together, they shower together, they sleep together. I mean,
I think
there's some fluid swapping going on there for sure.
It's the boot camping. So before TI, they do what's called a boot camp, where the players just get together and scrim against other top teams and really work on their shit and try to get their strategies and their timings and everything locked down, and they study replays and they're obviously doing this the rest of the year, but this is like the final stage where they go to the country a lot of the time and acclimatize themselves and get settled down and get over their jet lag and all the rest of it. Lots of teams have done boot camps outside the destination country. They'll just go and have a boot camp, but it's like a team bonding thing. So I assume that they went out and caught COVID from someone. So yeah, there was a post. One of the players, Lanham, who's quite a famous Dota player, was complaining about the boot camps and stuff. So it's going to be interesting. Several of the players are already presumably not going to be playing in the tournament. So yeah, who knows what's going to happen? I have no idea. I'm just doing the late game and chilling.
We've rekindled a tiny bit of Dota interest in the
it's
office
everywhere.
with our little series.
It's all over the yogs, man. Yesterday I played with Barry and Daff and Mike and Bryony.
I know, it's very weird. It's very weird. It's all happened very naturally.
Everyone
is getting involved trying to help Daff.
I know.
Was Daff not no good at Dota?
Daff is
He's awful.
400 MMR.
Yeah,
right.
And to be honest with you, he's just one of the worst players.
He's in the 0.3% of worst players in Dota. That's how bad he is. It's astonishing.
I love Dav. He's a top lad. But, I mean, when we were playing yesterday, in low prior, for anyone that doesn't know, if you abandon games or you get too many reports for being toxic, Dav, they put you in a special queue for bad people called low priority.
It's like detention.
It is. And you can only play a version of the game called single draft. That's the only version that there is. And single draft means that when you load into the game, instead of being able to choose from all the nearly 120 heroes, you're given a choice of 3. So it's real punishment. Because if
certainly you don't know how to play any of those heroes.
I mean, Dav is always being stuck with 3 heroes he's never played before because he does what a lot of people do when they're learning Dota and they pick one hero and they stick with that. That's what I did. It was a big mistake. You should try and play a lot of different heroes and just grind it out because you need to know what they do and how to defeat them and what the fuck all their spells do and what it means. Otherwise, you're just playing one hero and imagining that that's enough.
But Daff plays in a kind of angry, drunk way, and doesn't really. I don't know. He's
so oblivious to everything.
It's very strange watching someone be actually hopeless.
Yeah, like in real time,
more hopeless than me as well.
I feel like that's not a bad way to consume and enjoy Dota 2. Honestly. It's like, I know it's a team game and you're meant to be sort of pulling together and being coordinated or whatever, but let's face it, some people are hopeless at that and will never achieve those levels of gameplay. And I think
you're right.
I think when you realize that about yourself, just go out in the jungle and just have a fucking fun time, Just like
it's like
just quaff some potions out there and fucking hit some creeps or whatever, and just chill.
If you want to do that, go for it. But you are going to get reported a lot, and don't get salty with your teammates when you inevitably lose, because that's what Dav does.
Does he get salty as well?
Yes, he's very toxic.
That's a trap.
Which is where my sympathy runs out.
I think he has a little bit of small man syndrome though as well, in the sense like he's come out onto the basketball field as a small man and thought, well, I'm going to fucking play basketball. I don't care. I know I'm obviously no good at it, but I'm just going to do it because I can do it. And so he just wasn't made for it, I don't think. He's probably like really good at some other stuff, but I just don't think Dota is his game. And it's too late now to learn it, in his like late 20s. You have to pick that stuff up when you're 11. You know what I mean? I was playing Warcraft 3 when I was 11.
Were you?
Well,
I mean, I started learning when I was in my 30s. So it's not like you can't learn a bit. I just think it's remarkable to me.
Sometimes you're just not good at it.
For instance, when we were playing yesterday, I said to him, "You're Bloodseeker. We just need to rupture the Outworld Devourer. Just rupture OD." So right, got it. The very next fight, he doesn't do that. He just ruptures the nearest hero. Lost fight. The next fight, I say, right now, Dav, you just have to rupture the OD. Just doesn't do it. Like he's like, "Yep, got it this time." I'm like, this sums up Dav's approach to Dota is that he's panicked. For the whole time we're playing, he's in a mad panic. It's like too much information. It's too much, and he just panics.
Well, I mean, it's a complicated game. I can completely sympathize with that. But
he just needs to calm down. You can see it reflected in his toxic behavior. It's too much.
It is a deeply complicated game, but it also spins on one button press oftentimes, right? Yeah. Like if you take your time and you just press the one button that you need to press on the one person you need to press it on, you win the game. And it's like, as simple, as complicated as it is, and all the extra min-maxing and like last hitting and all this creep blocking, all this stupid extra shit. Like if it comes down to like one button press, it can't. You just have to make sure you do that button press.
Just
anyway.
that one button, that one simple button, and it's like an I win button. You're gonna just change the course of the game, win the game. You're gonna be the toast of the town. You won't need to be salty at all. You're gonna be hoisted above the shoulders of all your teammates and paraded around, cheering and smiling and laughing and stuff.
And before you know it, you'll be in Romania.
You'll be there. They're gonna carry you all the way to TI.
Are you hyped? You hyped?
I'm very much looking forward to it. Yeah, it's going to be.
I thought you were asking me, and I was going to say I am as well. Actually, I really like TI Fever. I like the lead up to TI. Great. I like watching TI. Do you know what? My relationship with Dota 2 is such at this moment in time, and probably for the remainder of time. I've enjoyed playing it in the past, and I've gotten myself quite salty playing it in the past. It's a frustrating game. It's complicated, and I've just decided that at this point in my life, I really enjoy watching other people who are good at Dota play Dota rather than me play it myself.
You're completely right.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about chess and StarCraft 2 as well. Like, can't fucking stand and football.
I agree with that.
Like,
I like watching.
Don't mind watching the World Cup, and like I don't mind. I like my relationship with Dota has been a very turbulent one. A love-hate sort of situation, swinging back and forth wildly, much like my relationship with all big games that I really invested a lot of time into. Yeah, that's true. Very much. And so I'm exactly the same place. I think it is nice to get hyped for something for a couple of weeks before a big event happens that is usually interesting to see, and especially if other people around you are just sort of getting that sort of overlap hype osmosis of excitement, like Bryony and Alex are big fans and of Dota and always sort of pick it up again for a week before TI. And
Bryony hadn't played in 2 years when she played the other day.
I bet she was fine though, right?
No, her Veno was really bad. Okay. Like my stream, obviously they're used to watching like mid-range Dota and sometimes better, and then also really bad Dota.
Wait, on your stream?
Yeah, I know. Some of the guys I play with are pretty good.
Interesting take, yeah. No, anyway, carry on.
I mean, it is mid-range Dota. I don't know what to tell you, Sips. It's like that legend to ancient MMR.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
P-Flax, I played a guy yesterday who was the same as me, which is Guardian 4 or something.
Right.
I looked at his record. He has played 10,000 games of Dota. I looked at his Dota buff. He has played every day for the last 8 years.
Yeah, well, it's a free game.
It's me. It's basically me.
It's the free game syndrome, isn't it? It's the sunken cost fallacy and free game rolled into one, right? I feel like there's a lot of games that are like that too, and I mean just genuine love for the game as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that kind of game, isn't it? And there's a lot of them.
You could tell that Bryony had obviously played before. That was the thing. So she sort of. Her first game back was super shaky, and then she played Omni, and she was great. And she hadn't really played Omni before, and it was like, this is good. This is someone who looks at what's happening and uses their spells and helps their team. I just think, if you can take 2 years off and come back and do that, and you compare it to Dav, who plays all the time and is just abysmal. I just fear for the lad that he's not going to get better, but we're going to get him.
What's his play time though? Because Dota.
Quite a bit.
Okay. It's got about 1,000 hours.
Right.
Yeah. It's quite
a bit. We're going to get him there. Like he said he's trying to take on board the stuff that we're helping him with. Like we're giving him advice. He's trying to take it on board. And he's like, little rules. I'm trying to think of simple rules that you can embed in your head that pop into your brain quickly. Like, he's actually said when we were playing yesterday.
It's like training a little rabbit.
Don't go downhill to fight, and don't go upstairs because it's dark. Perfect. Those are very simple rules that I can put in his head that will hopefully stick over time.
I think also, though, when you get that many hours in a game, you start to think that you either do know or should know best. And it's hard to change up the way you play.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You get habits. You get into habits.
I've played it off and on for since it was released, and I have maybe 1,300 hours in it or something. Right. Like over the course of a long time.
Yeah, we played a lot of games together.
That's not much, right? And I feel like Daff is maybe equal in time played, which is honestly not a lot of time played for Dota, and like a lot of the fundamentals won't be there. Like I could join a game of Dota right now, and even after having played 1,300 hours, there's still tons of things that I don't know how to do correctly. Timing wise, like
we need to send him to a boot camp.
Habit wise and stuff. Yeah, he does need a boot camp, it sounds like. But
That would be funny.
let's do it. I'd watch the fuck out of a video of Daft trying to get coached in a boot camp. They'd get so mad with him, like, immediately.
I was watching a streamer play the other day, and they were just about to go into a queue, and they had something insane like 17,000 games played of Dota. That's an insane amount of Dota.
That is pretty much a lot. I'm trying to get all of my. Currently, I noticed that one of my heroes is 69 games played.
Right.
And I'm trying to get all of my other heroes to 69 games played.
Right.
That's my
Flax,
current
how many total games
goal.
do you have played in Dota 2? Out of
just under 10,000.
Curiosity. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of games, but I mean, again, you play it like pretty much every day, right? At least you play at least a game of Dota every day.
I would say it's rare that I go a day without playing it. Like it's unusual. If I'm streaming, generally speaking, I'll play or watch, or cast it, sort of thing. But yeah, and I've got nearly 10,000 hours in it. So a lot of the time, it feels like and I'm a very mediocre player and make some big old boo-boos. But this week, actually, 2 things I did made it into YouTube compilations. That content creators about Dota make. One of them was I was Storm Spirit and I zip dodged the Chronosphere. I timed it just right, so the Void Chronosphere, and I zipped out of it, which was pretty pog.
Nice.
And then I was Treant Protector, and I had a Meteor Hammer, which is, you won't know it, it's an item that drops a big circular stun on the ground. You got to channel it and time it just right to stun people.
Yeah, I noticed
we were doing
that.
Roshan, and I knew their Storm Spirit was going to zip in and try and steal the Aegis, so I timed the Meteor Hammer to land just as the Aegis popped out of Roshan's butt, and the Storm Spirit came in. He was like Divine 5, stunned him, we killed him, we won the game. It was glorious.
That's pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
those are the live
those
for
are the
moments,
bits that
right?
the reasons you play the game.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But I could then show you a dozen clips from the last week of me making absolute colossal boo-boos.
Yeah.
So it happens. But as long as you're having fun, that's really what matters. Isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people lose sight of that too, right? Like, I think people tie fun into this like sort of progress or whatever, and understandably. But I think it's easy in a game like Dota to lose track of actually having fun, right? And then just trying to like rank up or win all the time, or not concentrate on the things that you were doing and then blaming it all on your teammates and stuff like that, right? Like it's that kind of game too.
Oh yeah. Also, in other gaming news this week, New World came out, which has 500,000 players already. It's an MMO. It's on Steam. Obviously, everyone sort of deserted WoW recently for Final Fantasy. I know you played a lot of Final Fantasy, Sips, and there's a new Final Fantasy expansion coming out in about a month, which everyone's very hyped for and rushing around. They're like, oh, it's coming out in 6 weeks. I better get all my characters and stuff ready. And it's like 6 weeks of gameplay is how long it takes to get to like ready for the expansion.
Final Fantasy is a weird one because like there is a little bit of rushing around, but it's a unique game in that, you know, when you're playing WoW and an expansion hits and everybody is just trying to get max level quickly, you know, like that's a thing in WoW, right? You want to get max level because the whole game hinges on the end game content, right? Like as WoW has progressed through the years, they've taken out a lot more of this sort of casual content, and it's just become, you know, I got to do my Mythic Plus, I got to raid, I got to do, you know, this end game stuff, and it's a bit of a treadmill. But Final Fantasy is a lot more story driven, and people tend to just take their time with the stories. Like a lot of
I've noticed that
the older dungeons do like a level sync. So like if you wanted to do, say, like a hard mode raid from a dungeon that came out 3 expansions ago, it just syncs your level and your gear down to what it's meant to be for that like encounter or whatever. So nobody's in a mad rush to get to the end. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people just like to absorb the story, play through it in their own time, get sidetracked with other stuff or whatever. So it's kind of nice, actually. I feel like it's really well designed in that sense. You know, like there's not you never feel like overly pressured into doing anything. And there's so much to do in the game as well. You just kind of find the thing that you like to do.
I wonder if some people out there are just not made for it though. Some people are just bad. Like there's a DAF in that game.
But in Final Fantasy, no, I don't think so. It's a lot more welcoming to newer players. It's a lot less hardcore. Like I'd
be able
say
to
like
find
at the higher end and stuff. Like it's you would be able to find him, but you just wouldn't be able to sort of shame him as badly.
So have either of you tried out New World?
Yeah, I've been playing it. Yeah, I did a brand thing on it when it was released. Yeah, and then I played it yesterday as well. I like it a lot, actually. It's good.
Is it a shooter? What is it? What is it like? I don't even have.
Like
I know
an
idea.
MMO, isn't it?
It's an open world MMO, but
you're just walking around in the same way.
It's
WoW and stuff.
It's a little bit, yeah. I mean, reminiscent for sure, but there doesn't seem to be a big emphasis on story. The big emphasis is on territory control and PvP. So there's factions that you join. A player can actually become the sort of war leader of a faction.
PvP and MMOs has always been fucking garbage.
Well,
it really has.
With this one,
shit.
it's all instanced PvP for like taking over territory, from what I can understand. I mean, I haven't done much PvP myself because there's a ton of like gathering and crafting stuff that I like to do that I've been doing. And you can still contribute towards the sort of efforts of other people PvPing by just like, fishing, crafting and all this stuff. Because the idea is to build up settlements so that you get like preferential tax rates and stuff like that for like economy stuff, and then
wow,
and then you take
really
over.
Hyping me up. So the tax rate's gone up. We've contributed lumber to the industry to allow our guild to build a new fort. Yeah, you're really selling it, actually.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, it's not my job to sell it. I mean, you just play Dota 2 if you want. I don't think anybody cares really. But.
No, I just wondered what they're doing differently because I haven't seen anything telling me to get excited about it. I know people are because the start of a new MMO is that wave of euphoria.
I think that's the exciting
the
bit.
new world.
It's rare that a new MMO comes out, and to sort of play it from day one is pretty rare as well, which I think is appealing to some people. And then I think some people just like the PvP. Like the combat it's not like WoW combat in that you have like these rotations and you're just like, pressing buttons. You can dodge abilities, like it feels like more, I don't know, like Dark Souls or something. I don't know, like in that, you can time like dodging like abilities and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different. It's maybe a bit more interesting. Like when you shoot an arrow or shoot a gun, you have to aim. Like, it's not just going to curve around a building to hit them as long as you've got them targeted and stuff like that.
Okay. No,
it's all right. It's not incredible. It's not going to change your life or blow you away. But I mean, it's an Amazon game, so I guess it's going to be around at least for a while. Yeah, it's all right. It's got a little bit of everything.
There are much more interesting things that happened this week, actually. First, the Mario movie. Did you hear about
Chris
the
Pratt?
cast for this?
Mario.
Everyone has been talking about it, and I know everyone's probably...
Yeah.
Because this podcast goes out a week later, everyone's going to be bored of hearing about Chris Pratt being Mario.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get your very quick
I feel
opinions.
like if this was announced in the 90s and it was like Adam Sandler's going to be Super Mario and stuff, it would have been more relevant to me. But half of the people that they announced, I don't even know or care about. And yeah, it's just
Charlie
whatever.
Day as Luigi.
I'll be honest with you, I can't think of any good movies that have ever been made of video games, and you could have said the same about superhero movies.
What about
the
the Wizard, the one with Fred Savage and and he goes to
the Wizard.
He goes to,
that's a classic fucking movie.
There you go.
Sips.
It's a video game movie.
Which movie?
The Wizard.
The
Right.
Wizard.
Which game is it based on?
It was selling Super Mario Brothers 3 before it came out. Remember? That was the big thing was they went to California to play competitively Super Mario Brothers 3, which hadn't been released yet. So it was the first time anybody was going to play it. It's the first time anybody saw the game before it came out.
Okay.
And one of the antagonists in the movie used a power glove to play.
That's
Oh,
Super
see
Mario
this,
Brothers
yeah. Well, that
3,
came out
yeah.
in 1989.
There you go, baby.
Yes. I watched it when I was a
Debuted at number
kid.
5 at the box office. So
Yeah.
it was a moderate box office success, after
Uh-huh.
which it became a cult film. It received lukewarm reviews.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, it wasn't. I don't think it was a good
Right,
movie.
so
Come on, I
that's
mean,
my-
it's
that's
a
literally
video game
what I
movie.
said.
It's not bad.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's good. And I think the issue is that
Well, it
I'm
doesn't
saying
mean it's
that,
bad either. So it rests somewhere in
I
between
literally
the two.
said I don't think there's been a good movie based on a video game, and you gave me a film about a guy who plays video games,
Oh, I
not
see.
one based on a video
All right,
game.
I see, because technically Wreck-It Ralph is like a video game
I
themed
guess,
movie,
yes,
right? But it's not
video
about
game
a
themed,
Did
video
they
yeah.
make the Doom movie? Fucking awful, right? I'm sure if they made
They
an
made
Among
it,
Us
did they actually make a Doom movie?
Yes,
Oh, no.
and a lot of the
shit.
time it's POV. It's
Oh,
like
my
POV
God.
of a gun.
No.
Like yes. I think The Rock is in it.
I missed that one.
You're-
That's what I'm talking
too.
about. That it's very hard for filmmakers to understand. How do we make a movie about
Well,
a
I mean, I
game?
remember the Mortal Kombat movie
Right.
and the Street Fighter movie.
And they were abysmal.
fucking trash.
I mean, they're cult classics because they're bad. They're enjoyable because they're bad. My point is, if you look at, say, the MCU superhero movies, they're good action movies, and in the past they couldn't make good superhero movies, I think, because effects probably weren't quite there and they just didn't really know what they were doing. Then they finally figured it out and started making good ones and stuff like that. I mean, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are great fun, for example. And then you look at video game movies and it's like it just hasn't worked. I think because people tend to think we need to take the essence of the game and put it up on screen. But what you really need to do is take the setting and the story and put that up on screen. I don't know how people felt about the World of Warcraft movies. I tried watching them and it was just I couldn't get into it.
There was
but,
just one.
it was rubbish.
I
yeah.
thought they made a
Okay,
couple,
it was
didn't they?
it was visually. I liked the look of it, like the effects and stuff. Like it
I'd
was.
completely forgotten about the World of Warcraft movie.
It was. It was.
completely forgotten
I know.
about
Like
it.
a lot of people hate on it. I didn't think it was like terrible. Like I
Oh,
didn't
like-
want to like leave my seat and walk out.
Were
of
we
it.
in America when we?
Yeah, we were.
Did you
yeah,
come
yeah,
to?
yeah.
We saw
I
it.
think we
in-
were. I think it was before we went to
We went to the
BlizzCon
premiere.
one year or something. Yeah. we
Yeah,
saw
they
it,
did
yeah.
a whole press thing, and we were there, and we did a thing, didn't we? We did like.
Oh, I wasn't at the
green
press
screen
thing. You saw it. You must have seen it twice then, because we all went.
I went to. They took me to fucking.
because I'd never been.
Yeah, man, that was a fucking crazy experience, man. Doing Warcraft, I completely forgot about that. But you're right, it wasn't very good. I don't think there's been any good ones, but I guess these days though, with the Lego Movie and all the Sonic ones, I think the Pikachu detective is again, they're not specifically they're in universe though, right? Like Detective Pikachu. What did you think of that? That's not a bad movie. Is it?
I'll be honest
It's
with
okay.
you. I missed that one. I did not see Detective Pikachu.
It did well. I think it had a decent box office.
I saw the Lego movies
$1 billion.
though. The Lego movies I did see. And
The Lego movies were great.
Yeah, they were good.
all
my
of them
kids
really
liked
fun.
them as well. Like they were really nice.
I feel like these big budget. I think the problem with the video game movies before was they were done a little bit. I don't know. They weren't done. They didn't jump in with both feet. I think when you jump in like with both feet, sure you can still have a flop, but I think that the more money you've got, the more time you've got, the more big names you've got. You know, with Chris Pratt in it, and you know they'll probably do loads of screenings and check it's not too weird. You know, and
Right.
reshoot a bunch of stuff. To put to the point where it'll be you can't be a flop anymore, right? Like these
I
people are so
guess,
scared
yeah,
of that.
I guess.
They'd rather, you know, like when the Sonic thing happened and they, you know, they put all that screen stuff out, remember, and they changed all the stuff based on community response because it looked weird. And some people think that was a conspiracy theory where they were like, oh, we deliberately made him look stupid so we could change it. But actually, I think it was just one weirdo at the you know, one higher up guy who was just decided that it had to look weird like that. And
The
you know,
Mario
signed off on
movie
it.
was the original one. Was if you read the production of that, it was utterly bizarre.
Oh, it had what's his face in it as well.
Bob Hoskins.
Hoskins.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
honestly, I think there was a YouTube video someone made about it, but the production is absolutely bizarre. And I think a lot of the time back then, films used to get made in a completely different way. Sometimes it felt like very, I don't know, it just feels like they've sorted their shit out when it comes to making films. It doesn't seem like as bonkers and random a process. It almost felt like the Wild West sometimes where they made films and the people they put in charge, and it was just chaotic and barely organized and everything. Anyway, yeah, look into the Mario movie.
Yeah, it's such
So
interesting
weird.
stories to do these old movies. And interestingly, I read this week that they do this yearly prop store auction of old props, right? in this place in the UK. I think it's happening in November. Prop store. You can look it up. But basically, they've got I've got a list of the stuff here that they're selling this year, and it's like a stormtrooper helmet, right. From Return of the Jedi, the OG stormtrooper helmet.
Right.
Guess what that is from 1983. Guess what its estimated value is?
$20,000.
More.
$20,000.99.
50,000.
More.
150,000.
Correct. It's expected to make $150,000 to $200,000. That's an OG stormtrooper helmet from Return of the Jedi.
I hope it's got a still of the guy wearing it in which scene it was in it. I want the helmet that the guy was wearing in the first one when the lad walked into the door. Have you seen that clip?
Right. You want that specific
one
with the dent in it.
helmet, yeah, with the dent, and him signing it saying, "Sorry, I was distracted."
Sorry, just says sorry on it.
Sorry for ruining the scene.
That is a glorious moment. Yeah, I love that made it through, and
I guess nobody noticed, and he didn't say, "Sorry, hold on a sec, I hit my head on the door." He was just like, "Shit, I don't want to get fired. I'll just say nothing."
Yeah. I just love how I guess though maybe people subconsciously noticed it and made them think, oh yeah, stormtroopers are clumsy and hopeless, because they do give that general feeling of not being able to hit things, because I don't think they could see very well out of the helmet. So when they were running around,
yeah, it looks like trying to shoot things wearing sunglasses, like big dark sunglasses. Must be hard enough. And with the restricted vision of a helmet as well, no wonder they can't hit anything. And also, they never look down the sights of their gun. They just sort of blast it like pew, pew, pew.
Pew,
like
pew,
they're
pew,
firing
pew.
Grandpappy's blunderbuss is
They have
style.
a autographed Mattel hoverboard from Back to the Future Part 2,
Oh, that's pretty
1989.
Cool. Nice.
What do you think that's worth?
I'm going to say 180 for that.
Sips, what's your guess?
I'm going to say 250 for that.
Wow, it's actually only estimated to raise 82,000 to 110,000.
Oh, well, that's
it's
shocking.
a bargain. It's a bargain.
That is, yeah. Geez, I thought it would be way more for that one.
It's a full-sized, human size, I guess, or bigger than human, T-800 endoskeleton from Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Oh, that's got to be worth a pretty penny.
It's like a fucking suit of armor.
Yeah.
But
How
that
much do
film
you think?
wasn't very good. So.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Terminator 2?
Terminator 2.
Was it called Judgment Day? I don't.
1991.
When you said Judgment Day, I thought it was one of the other ones that were like
no, the new one, the old one, the OG
Terminator
good
3
one.
getting to know each other or whatever the later one.
Terminator 2, the endoskeleton where Arnold Schwarzenegger has it in him.
Oh, that is Pog.
How much is that
I'm going to
worth?
say $500,000 for that.
I'm going to say $500,001. just to because I think it's like the high end, and I really want to win this one.
You can pick it up for a bargain of only $110,000.
Oh my god, I lost that one.
I thought you were doing this in some kind of order, and it was going to go up.
No,
up,
I'm not. It's random. I'm going up and down. $110,000 for the T800.
Terminator 2 was such a great movie.
Oh,
I remember.
it was,
do you remember though? Before it came out, I remember we'd all seen Terminator. I went to see it in the cinema. I would have been 14, and me and all my mates went to see it at the same time. And the day before, we'd read this article that said there's no that the Terminator is changed because he's not killing anybody, and we were like, not killing anybody. This movie's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. There's nobody getting killed. It's gonna suck. And we were like, done. We were like, oh my god, it's gonna be rubbish. And then of course it wasn't. It was just we were convinced the movie was gonna suck. If the Terminator can't kill anyone, what's the point? What are we going for? But as it was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Because I guess maybe that Terminator didn't.
Right.
Arnie didn't kill anyone.
He was told,
right.
why'd you try to shoot him? Because you told me to. And then he says, no more shooting people, okay? We're good guys.
Because you told me to. I love that. I love that line. It was so good.
You have to do anything I say, huh? Stand on one foot. All that shit. So it was like...
It's good, though. That's the classic 80s comedy kind of bits that they put in these movies that really brought them to life, right? At 90s, yeah. So there's also Freddy Krueger's razor finger glove from A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, I'm gonna say that's
20.
That's worth
I'd
say that's worth like $20, honestly. Like not even thousands. I don't think anybody cares about that shit.
It is estimated to 20,000.
Wow,
That's right.
Right on. Holy crap.
Very good.
That's really good.
There is a Gryffindor house robe
Oh my
from the
God.
original Harry Potter.
That's got to be I'd
these
say that's
have to
like
be popular, right?
like 10, 15,000 at the
I'm gonna
most.
say-
That's exactly. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's 10 to 15.
Well,
oh
there you
my
go.
God,
There you
how
go.
are you guys getting this? Are you looking at the same
It's too
article?
recent. It's too recent. It hasn't aged like a fine wine yet, right?
Right.
Also, it's all young people that like that shit, and they got no money. You need older movies because that's where all the
True.
old farts that suddenly have loads of money buy all that shit.
Yeah.
the elf costume from Elf, 2003.
Oh, that's like
grand.
5-10 grand.
20 to 30 grand.
Jeez, really?
The elf costume.
Do you know Elf
Yeah,
has
well, Elf's
become
pretty
like
big.
a quintessential
Elf's pretty
Christmas
big.
movie
It
now,
has, yeah.
which is
It has.
kind of weird. Like,
Do you think it's because it's a bearable Christmas movie and so few of them are?
I just
That
don't
it's
think
like-
they make that many Christmas movies anymore, do they? Like, when was the last time a new Christmas movie came out that was good or
Christmas.
even at least bearable? They never come out, right? Most movies that come out around Christmas have nothing to do with Christmas, right? Like Star Wars and all the.
Wait, they used to be,
the
didn't
known
it? There used to be
Christmas,
this whole seasonal thing where they would put out their good movies at a certain time.
Yeah.
But I think it's now just all up in the air.
Yeah.
There's also, actually, this is a good segue. James Bond, Sean Connery's James Bond's.
Man, you know what they haven't done yet, though? Sorry, before
From-
we move on too quickly from this really interesting topic of Christmas, what they haven't done, and I'm surprised, they haven't done like Paw Patrol Christmas Carol, for example. You know, there's a whole
Right.
bunch of like My Little Ponies Christmas Carol, a Christmas Carol. You know,
Right.
that classic story,
I see.
but with all the new franchises, Harry Potter, A Christmas Story,
Christmas
a Carol. Yeah,
You're
like,
right,
You know?
because we talked about this last time with these going out of copyright.
Yeah.
They can grab that one up.
Yeah,
Do
that
you know what I
Christmas
mean? It's a
Carol,
good
but
one.
like with a new franchise, you know, like Squid Game, A Christmas Carol, like whatever is popular now,
Right.
shove it into A Christmas Carol. Boom, profit, right?
Squid. Yeah, well, okay, so we could talk about Squid Game actually after this, but James Bond's screen match suit from You Only Live Twice, 1967.
Oh, that's
obviously a
well.
classic
Again,
Bond.
now, so what we spoke about earlier. It's all old men with disposable income that are going to be
Yeah.
interested in that. So I think that's going to be like 100 grand or something.
I'm going to say 85.
Wow, it's actually between $69,000
Nice.
Nice.
and $96,000.
Wow,
That's pretty
close.
I
Yeah.
think you were both pretty close there.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, there's loads of stuff actually. A lot of it's for charity, and if you have a spare
100 grand.
multi-thousands of pounds
Yeah.
burning a hole in your pocket, and you want to buy a piece of old tat that probably smells of sweat from the stormtrooper once wore 35 years ago.
Yeah.
You know,
fucking or more than
just
that,
get-
45
I can't
years ago.
remember
Get on
what
it.
museum it was I went to where they had a display of Star Trek stuff. They had like a special Star Trek stuff from the original series and the movies.
Oh yeah.
And
Was it in
they had all the
Seattle?
there was some stuff in Seattle.
I
that was
think
like
you might
that.
be talking about the one at that place in Seattle that we went to, Lewis. Remember when we went there and we saw all the Star Trek? They had that big Star Trek exhibition.
Oh, you're right. They had a big thing.
And you
under
would have
the
been in
Space
Seattle
Needle.
for
They have a
TI
big,
at the time, so maybe that's where you saw it.
Maybe.
Yeah,
But I'm
Is that
sure
where
I-
we saw the whole Nirvana stuff.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well?
that was awesome.
I didn't see any Nirvana stuff. It might have been either way. It might have been the V&A or something like I don't know where they
It
fucking
is
had
kind
some
of
stuff.
cool to see like these authentic
But-
props from
But don't
old
you
shit.
think it
though.
looks like cack sometimes? Like you look at
It
it and you
does.
think, wow, it just doesn't really look very good. And you realize that, when it's on TV, it looks cool.
You have to display it though, right? You have to display it in like a glass case with
Yeah.
a little golden plaque, and then it suddenly looks cool.
But you think it's just like a bit of wood and metal that they've stuck together because it looks vaguely like a phaser or a tricorder or whatever.
Oh yeah,
And we're all,
someone
like,
made it in like 5
reverently-
seconds flat back in the
reverently
day,
looking
yeah.
at it like,
and they made it look just good enough that if you see it in the background, it doesn't look too shit.
yeah. And
don't
the
look too
costumes.
closely.
Whenever you see costumes for movies like that, you realize how little actors are a lot of the time because the costumes are so witty. It's like I'm sorting out my kid's wardrobe and I found a captain's uniform in the back of it. It's like, well, who would this fit? A tiny little elf person.
Well, they've been. You're thinking about the elf costume again. That's
no,
why.
because that was Will Ferrell. He's a big man.
He is probably one of the biggest costumes.
Yeah.
By the way, you can use ExpressVPN to unlock movies and shows that are only available in other countries.
Thank God.
That's right. You could use ExpressVPN to change your online location so you can control where sites you want them to think you're located.
I want everyone to think that I'm dialing in from sunny Miami Beach.
Well,
Is that possible?
It is, absolutely, yeah. It's got loads of little
Hooray.
servers all over the world. You can click wherever you want to be. You do have to know where these countries are, but, you know, you're accessing the internet safely.
I think I know where the country of Miami is. Thank you very much.
So yeah, you can watch Studio Ghibli because the whole catalog's on UK Netflix. There's some anime on Japanese Netflix that isn't anywhere else.
Have you ever thought about Ghibli D's nuts, Lewis? just asking for a friend.
You can work. This works with any streaming service: Hulu, YouTube, BBC iPlayer, stuff like that, and you can stream in HD. I've never noticed any lag on my ExpressVPN. I do use it. I recommend you do too. It's compatible with all your devices. You can get it on your phone or your laptop. And not only does it change your location, it also encrypts your data and lets you surf the web safely and anonymously.
Nice.
So why not try ExpressVPN now at expressvpn.com/Triforce. You get 3 extra months free, and that's expressvpn.com/Triforce. Get an extra 3 months free when you subscribe to a 1-year package. Thank you, and on with the show. New James Bond this week came out finally after being delayed, and everyone's been losing their shit about it, saying it's okay. I hesitate to say good.
Just to say that it's okay.
Right there, yeah.
Well, because we have to now have this boring conversation about whether Bond needs to change to the fuck. Everyone, there's always this, is it time for Bond to be a woman? Is it time for Bond to grow up in 2021?
I think if they want to keep the franchise relevant, they have to make some changes. But at the same time, the franchise is so locked in the past in so many ways, like all of the tropes and stuff.
But it has changed so much. Like some of the old Bond movies were totally not cool. There were like some really, I mean, looking back at some of the old Bond movies, they're kind of obviously, judged by the time they were set in, but they were very kind of bit racist, there's a bit where James Bond like sellotapes his eyes slinty, doesn't he, or whatever? Oh my god, it's terrible.
What is the one where they're all meant to be like voodoo and stuff like that?
That was the one. Fuck, I can't remember the name of it, man. They all like meld into one, don't they?
I know the names definitely do, but either way, that one, you look at that now, you think, wow, like that is out there. You could not even talk about getting that made nowadays, and it's just like it is a very dated series. I just think, do people really, like, is it actually going to make a difference having a female Bond? That's the only question I'd ask is, are people going to say, oh, well, if a woman could be James Bond, then that completely changes my view? I feel like you're either pissing off people who are already pissed off and never going to agree with you, or preaching to the choir. That's what it feels like when you make these big sweeping, we're going to have a female Bond, take that. It's like, well, you're just pissing those people off who are already angry and are never going to change. I mean, or people that are applaud you anyway, because it's like, yay, female Bond. It's like you're not winning anybody over. It just seems like a zero exercise and a big marketing bullshit wank fest from these companies. They don't actually give a shit. They're just thinking, what's cool in 2021 is a female Bond.
I feel like maybe it should change again to be more relevant, like and to give it some longevity. But I still think that its target demographic, whether the franchise likes it or not, is like my 65-year-old dad who
it's a
doesn't care about feminism or anything like that. He's, you know what I mean? He's just like, he's not going to change at this point in his life, I don't think.
James Boomer, that's what they should call him.
Yeah.
Agent
my god.
Agent 0077.
Yeah.
James Boomer.
Yeah, I think it's I think that's it though, right? Like I don't think it's I think they just gotta reinvent it or just do something new, you know what I mean? Like
I would not touch the Bond franchise if I was a successful actor in a million billion years.
Yeah.
Why would you want to be James Bond? That's all you're gonna be now, even though the movies aren't really that good,
I mean, I don't know. Like I think Daniel Craig and the modern Bond movies have been quite they've been fine.
They've been all
I
right.
liked Casino Royale.
Yeah, I did quite like that
did not
one.
care for Skyfall very much. I thought it was
I
pretty
didn't,
boring,
no.
honestly. And what was that other one? The Solar Eclipse of the Heart?
Quantum of Solace.
Quantum of Solace,
Quantum
which
of
is a terrible name.
Solace. I don't even remember that one, honestly.
Yeah, that's the
I don't know
problem.
What the fuck happened in that one? GoldenEye was pretty good, though, right? Am I right, guys? Holy shit! Like, come on,
That's the
fucking
one where
GoldenEye.
that woman was slipping, suffocating people with her thighs
Yeah.
for crying out
Yeah.
loud.
I think her character name was Thigh Stroke Suck 'em Off or something like that.
Yeah.
It was
Just a real
Xenia
subtle
on
one
a
like
top,
that.
actually.
Yeah.
It was on a
But
top.
here's the thing:
Yeah.
if you look at the new Mission Impossible movies, the Tom Cruise ones, they're way better than the James Bond movies, and they're in the same kind of mold. So it's like
God, I
they
haven't
can
seen any
make
of those
good.
either.
Oh man,
I think I saw the first
Honestly,
one. Like, I
if you
remember.
watch Mission Impossible Fallout, that is a belter of a movie. That is
Right.
an absolute fucking slam dunk of a movie. I love it. It's so good. Just watch that. Mission Impossible Fallout. Give it a watch. It is a corker. And it's just like, that's what they could be doing with the James Bond franchise, but it's always the fucking same old shite. And
Yeah.
it just feels kind of stale. And the action is just kind of like, oh, yeah, it's quite cool, I guess.
I guess it is a specific genre of well-dressed, sort of very, very rich, noble people going into these rich circles and doing their kind of, evils or stopping evil things. I don't know. It is all very suits on Savile Row and kind of like, but I also feel like that other, what's the rip-off James Bond?
Kingsman?
Kingsman.
Oh.
Kingsman. Kingsman's done a great job of kind of
Young people love
modernising
those
Bond,
films.
right?
Yeah, they love them.
Yeah, and I think they're great. Actually, I've
It was
enjoyed them
too
a lot. They were a
cartoony
lot
for
of fun.
me, but I'm old. So I'm in
Really?
this. Yeah, I just got like, it was alright, but fucking hell.
I thought they were
I quite
pretty
like
bad,
the
yeah.
older Bond movies where he was more like an agent. From Russia with Love is one of my favorites. It's probably my favorite Bond movie because it's not like huge wild action sequences. It's more like secret agent shit. The whole bit on the train is superb, and that fight scene between him and the Russian baddie is a fantastic fight scene. It's just like a really good low-key culmination. It's just two lads fighting in a train carriage as the big final battle, not a skyscraper exploding while Bond parachutes down onto a crowd of baddies. It's just really good, tense stuff.
Parachutes into a tank and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then fires the MacGuffin into the sun. I mean, yeah, you're right. It can get a bit lunacy, but I mean, the Bond always had this sort of slightly wacky gadgets and wacky things, and I think people have that in their conscious, and they do want to see this genre and experience something that's familiar but different. People have good memories of Bond movies being a romp, being fun, being silly, being kind of not taking themselves too seriously. And I think everyone's saying that, this new one does have a bit of camp comedy in it. I'm not fucking going to the cinema, though. Christ, what's going on?
I love that.
Who's going to the fucking
I'm
cinema?
not putting myself out for this shit. Come on.
I'm not going to the fucking. It's
Yeah, fuck
2021. Let me just fucking watch it in my living room. I'll pay £5 or £10 or whatever. Just fucking
You'd
hell.
be fucking lucky. Jesus Christ. Hey, Bond is meant to revitalize the flailing entertainment industry. That's what I heard on the news. I thought to myself,
I think flailing is the right
fucking
word.
try another one, thanks very much. There's a fucking industry that doesn't even need to exist in the first place that is already fucking minted to the gills. Like, okay, failing industry. I'm sure they'll get over it in like 2 seconds once like theaters are fully open again and people can go again.
Well, yeah, but they're all shutting down. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, because
It's
everybody
like
just wants to watch shit at home now, like Lewis
Christ,
just
like,
said.
you fucking. When was the last time? I mean, I remember the last time I went to one of the Odeons in Bristol. It was a shithole. I was like, fucking hell, this place. It's like rat infested fucking hole in the wall. God, I couldn't. It stinks in there. It was horrible. I'm just saying that maybe some of them need to be condemned.
The Odeon near us in Richmond is awful.
Oh my
I know.
god, the price of like food and shit there too is unbelievable. Like,
that's how they make the
it's
moolah.
it's a fucking joke though. Like, it's so stupid. It's crazy.
I'm just saying that maybe
it
we need.
used to be a
I'm not-
theatre.
I'm not going out of the kindness of my charitable heart to fucking pop down to the Odeon and support them. To watch the latest wanky wank fest that they. I'm just saying. I'm excited for the Dune movie, but I'm happy to pay for it. I just want to watch it with my own popcorn. Do you know what I mean? Give me a break. Come on.
Yeah.
Be
What,
nice.
kind of popcorn would you go for in that? Like, would you flavor your popcorn differently depending on what kind of movie you're seeing? Like, would you go for like a sweet and salted mix or just salty?
No, if it's Dune, you got to chuck a load of sand in with the popcorn
Right.
to really get that Dune experience.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, don't do that, by the way.
And
anyone
like a little bit of
listening. Any
spice.
easily suggestible listeners.
A little bit of like cinnamon
some
and paprika.
turmeric or something.
Yeah,
What's
turmeric.
What's the deal with Dune then? Have people seen it and stuff? Like I've kind of lost track of the Dune hype.
It's had a European release, so it's out in like
But
various
the guy,
countries.
the director of it was saying like, please go see it in the theaters,
Dennis
right? He was
Villeneuve,
like,
yeah,
he was like,
yeah.
please watch it in the theaters.
Go fuck yourself. Who are you to beg me to go and see your fucking
He's Dennis
movie?
fucking Villeneuve, apparently. I mean, that's his
Piss
Yeah,
off.
he's made some great movies. I mean, I think that
please see my movie. Fuck off.
I think the point is that they make these movies for the big screen,
Fuck off,
and you're
Dennis.
saying, I just want to watch it on my phone in bed.
Fuck, I
Yeah, I
just drank
do, I
water
don't
that's
care.
coming out of my nose.
Christ, they're like fucking asking me to watch it on the plane on that shitty screen with like noise in the
it's
background and all the
impossible.
good bits cut
It's
out.
impossible to get into a movie on the plane, right?
Fuck off.
Every time there's like one little bump of turbulence, I'm like in full like fight or flight mode. Like I cannot fucking pay attention.
No one's been saying don't watch my movie on a plane. You got to watch my movie in the theaters, nowhere else, or you'll ruin it. It's like go fuck yourself. I don't care.
Wow.
You know, I'm done. I'm done with these
I'm glad you
people.
told us how you really feel about the whole thing.
I'm actually really hyped for June. Obviously, big fan of June. It's coming out on my birthday.
I'm gonna go see it in the
And
theater
I've
for
booked,
sure.
I booked a ticket to
I'm
go
gonna
and see
put
it.
20
actually,
tickets.
yeah.
I know I'm gonna want to see this one back to
I
back.
actually am gonna go and see June in the theater.
I think the reviews have been sort of like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty
all
much
right.
it,
I mean,
unfortunately,
that's,
rather than be
that's-
super hyped.
Well, this
but
is-
if you're a big fan of the book, I think it's nice to see it up on the big screen. But it looks gorgeous, everything I've seen of it. But what's the name of the girl who plays Chani? I think is it Zendaya or Zendaya? I can't remember her
Right.
name. She was in
Oh.
the Spider-Man movies. What's her name? She's
Kirsten Dunst.
No, not Kirsten.
Not Kirsten
What's
Dunst.
her name? Hold
Okay,
on.
sorry.
Zendaya, right? She
Right.
seems to be in everything.
Right.
And Timothée Chalamet seems to be in everything.
There's his
And-
hot property, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And I just think, geez, these two are in everything. And I just kind of thought, well, I don't really care about them because they're in
Yeah,
everything.
save some roles for some other people.
Like, I love Rebecca Ferguson. She's fantastic. Dave Bautista seems to be in quite a lot of things at
Who's
the
Dave
moment. as well.
Bautista again? Is he the guy?
Who's Dave
is he the guy who
Bautista?
plays Hulk in
Fuck's sake.
in the Marvel movies?
In Guardians of the Galaxy, that's right. Yeah.
Right.
He's the big guy in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I
and
do like
loads
Dave
of other stuff.
Bautista. But
He was
does
in
seem to be
the
quite a
Army
few
of the
things.
Dead as the
Oh,
useless.
I never saw
he
that
was,
either.
He was the
fucking
main
bad
character
in
in
that.
that fucking abysmal piece of shit garbage.
I'm
I
gonna,
don't like
I liked it
I'm gonna
though. I
watch
liked
that
it though.
Squid
It was,
Game, and honestly, it's a show that I'd heard about, like lots of people talking about, and I just assumed
yeah,
that.
so everyone's talking
Yeah,
about
everybody's like, watch Squid Game. And when I
yeah.
first heard about it, without knowing anything about it, because so many people were talking about it, hyping it up, I was like, it's just some fucking Netflix anime for sure, right? I'm not watching that.
Yeah, it's not an
No,
anime,
it's not at
but-
all. Yeah, no, I actually read about it, like an article about it, like praising it, and the idea for it just sounds kind of nuts. So I'll probably watch
It's
it. yeah.
okay. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I would say that the sort of reveal at the end of the first episode, if you didn't see that coming, and you think this is obviously what's going to happen, and then when it does, the shock and surprise and all the people, you think, come on, lads, you knew this was
Yeah.
coming.
Did
come
no
on,
one?
lads.
Did no one think this was happening?
No one thought about
No
this.
one thought this was happening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean, it's
mean,
all right. Yeah, it's all right. It's quite a long lead up before the first episode really gets going, but I do want to see what happens in the other episodes. But I'm really intrigued to see where they take it after the first episode. I've only watched the first one because it's like, well, where do they go from here? Because it's just going to be kind of
Sorry,
interesting.
so if you don't know, it's a sort of Korean show about, it's like a battle royale, I guess. It's like a series of sort of high risk games
Yeah.
based on
But it's like kids games, right?
based
So-
on kids.
Well,
Well,
like hopscotch
ostensibly
and
based
stuff,
on kids
right?
games.
Like,
Right, but
Sure.
imagine if you missed a hop or a scotch, whichever it is, they shot
You fell
or
into a
something.
pit.
Yeah.
Or a pit of lava. So it's like that. So it's like kids games with actual tangible threats.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who you guys played hopscotch with, but I might as well have fallen into a pit of the lava, like some of the company I kept when I was a youngin. It was rough times on the dangerous streets of Ottawa.
We're playing
Ontario.
Canada rules hopscotch.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, so like Yeah, fucking check yourself before you wreck yourself. Anyway, carry on.
No, it's good. I'm about sort of 5 episodes in, and it's a little bit. It's decent in a sense because it does go in at weird angles sometimes, which is a bit refreshing. Honestly, it's like you don't fucking know where it's going, at least initially, or what's happening, and yeah, it feels good. It's good to watch. So I can say it's positive. But I noticed that much like Hunger Games and these other memes that sort of become popular, there's tons and tons of Roblox versions of these kids, because Roblox is making kids games in Minecraft, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
and so there's hundreds of thousands of people playing, these various Squid Game, death challenges type thing.
Right.
So it's taken over the internet a bit.
Apparently, it's the highest rated show in Netflix history or something.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So when I read that, I think this isn't the best show that's ever been on Netflix by a long chalk. And it just kind of annoys me that it's so highly rated.
Yeah,
I'm like,
a little
why?
bit. Well, it's new though, isn't it? Do you remember? Like anything that's new gets this hype, and then it actually, once people have had a chance to actually consider it properly and compare it with other things, it's not as good as once people have actually watched the whole thing. I think you'll feel differently about it.
I just think the kind of people that vote on things have skewed this. I've watched Netflix for years, as you guys have. I've never voted on anything. I never go and do user reviews on Metacritic or whatever, but apparently it's like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. Like the first thing to ever be a clean 100%.
No, there's loads and loads. There's loads and loads and loads of things that are clean 100%. Loads and loads of them.
Well, I read something saying it was the highest rated ever anyway.
Well, I think this is the hype, isn't it? This is what people are saying to get you to watch it. It
seems a bit mad. It's not the greatest piece of media ever made. It's
no,
fun,
for sure.
But
it's
why?
It's fun.
Why
And
the
it's definitely interesting, and I it's worth a watch. Sips. I
yeah,
recommend.
100%. Yeah. But I don't think we need to.
Well, I'm not going to now. Actually, after listening to Flax, I've just it's just sounds like it's going to be just a shitty, boring roller coaster ride that I don't want to take part in. So, I'm just joking. I'll check it out. I mean, the thing is, I'm a bit with Flax on this one because I think that stuff tends to get overhyped. But again, I'll give something a try, and if I don't like it, I'll just watch an episode or two and move on. Like I'm not going to get too hung up on it.
The other thing Netflix did this week was they bought fucking a game studio. Did you?
Oh yeah.
This?
Oh no.
What games are they going to make?
They're going to make Dota 3, but they're actually going to call it something different, and they're going to have a big legal battle with Valve and Blizzard about it as well. It's going to be nuts.
Oof.
Well, they've made these interactive things before, haven't they, on Netflix? There were a couple of them, like the Bandersnatch? Black
That's
Mirror?
right. Yeah. And they were talking about potentially doing that with Squid Game as well, right? And they decided not to, but they wanted to do something like that with it as well. Yeah.
Like, it was close to working, wasn't it? That it didn't feel, because it had the variable
audience
sort of parts.
interaction stuff. Right?
I thought Bandersnatch was an interesting experiment. It was interesting.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of video games that are very close to Bandersnatch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the crossover really is in the middle there. Like there's a very fine line between Bandersnatch and a lot of these narrative video games that Annapurna put out. That are basically a 90-minute movie with variable paths through them. And so I think that I could imagine why Netflix would want to get game people in to help them build these structures for telling stories in a way that is people can pick up their remote control and press up or down, and then it changes the outcome. And I think that it's not that hard to make that, as a especially if you're doing it in some one room low budget thing. It's quite, I'm not saying it's cheap to record this stuff, but you certainly notice that certain mediums on TV are easier to make than others, and I think that this is a way to make stuff that could be a big thing, because it wasn't a failure. Bandersnatch, it wasn't universally panned or hated. It was this thing that was it was interesting. Could have been better, but it was all right.
Not a great name though, Bandersnatch. I don't know, could have thought of something maybe a bit better than that,
Yeah, I didn't think that was
a hard sell for my Christian.
I don't even
Bible
remember
study
why
group.
it was called that either.
Is it because it's got the word snatch that you're not a fan of?
Yes,
Oh.
specifically that. Yeah,
Not the bander.
no, the bander's fine. The bander can stay. The snatch has to go.
Yeah, I think it was the name of the game they were, because if I remember rightly, he was making a game and it was called that, and it was like that was the game that he was working on
Right.
that kind of took over his life, right? Like I seem to remember something about that.
I will
It's been a
say
while.
that the branching path thing to me is kind of annoying in some cases, because in 12 Minutes, for example, that recently came out, that it was so repetitive to have to go through to the same bit and get back to do it differently every fucking time. And I was like, my God, give me a break. And also there is an element of wanting to see, like oftentimes when I complete a narrative game, I go onto YouTube and I watch all of the other outros, right? All the other possible endings. But I don't know, it doesn't feel like the story is as complete when you have all these possible, it could have ended up with him dying, or it could have ended up, you chose the wrong one. And also you're never quite sure what you're choosing often. Like you're like, well, I chose that because I thought this would happen, not because this is going to happen. And then it's kind of a bit unsatisfying. I don't know. I think it's a dangerous way to tell a story that sometimes just makes the story feel a lot shitter as a result.
Yeah, sometimes you just want a good story. I don't want to have to push a button. Jeez, what is this? Making me work for
I'm
it.
not in charge of my story, but I guess a well-crafted story, though. I'm not saying you have to fucking M. Night Shyamalan the fucking twist at the end.
What,
gives
have
you
a shitty twist, you mean?
Man, did you honestly think that I See Dead People was a shitty twist? Like at the time,
You
I
could
thought.
tell from the trailer, bro. I pulled it straight away. Not even kidding. I'm sure
Oh
we've
my
had this
God.
conversation before. I have yet to see an M. Night Shyamalan movie where the twist wasn't telegraphed in the opening fucking credits. It's that obvious.
Right.
It's so obvious. Like, I watched the trailer for The Sixth Sense. Everybody was losing their minds about it. And I literally said, I bet Bruce Willis is dead. Like, you can tell from the trailer. He says, I see dead people walking around like regular people. And then it cuts to a shot of Bruce Willis. This is a voiceover of Bruce Willis walking around like regular people, trying a door and it won't open. He looks confused. I thought, I bet that's the twist. And of course it fucking was.
Well, unfortunately, you had it spoiled for you by a bad trailer by that.
Yeah.
But no, I think that was iconically, Sips. This was one of the best. This was what made M. Night Shyamalan's career, and he went on to.
Yeah.
And he's doing a lot. I mean, he did a lot more movies, but he became so typecast.
I don't think
though.
I've seen any other M. Night Shyamalan movies,
Oh my
but
God,
so I
they're
thought that
so
was a good
bad.
one. The
Lady in the Water.
the Bruce
that's
Willis one.
Absolutely
Wait,
abysmal.
Bruce Willis was in the other one too, wasn't he?
Unbreakable, I think it's
I never
called.
saw
Well,
that.
recently
yeah.
he did
Terrible.
Split. That was okay.
I couldn't stand the overacting in that. It was just,
And also,
he's a big
Glass.
fan of overacting.
Have you seen Glass? Which
No,
is
no interest.
the follow-up to the other one. Do you remember with the same
Unbreakable.
characters? Yeah.
What was the? Was it Sixth Sense? Was it the Sixth Sense? The Fifth Element?
That was the first
Sixth
one.
Sense.
Fifth Element was a different movie.
Yeah.
Different movie
and had
completely.
Bruce Willis in it as well, right?
It did
Yes,
also
it
have
did.
Bruce Willis.
It
yeah.
did have Bruce Willis. It's a good movie, though. It was
He
a good
likes
movie.
movies with numbers in.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah.
big fan of that, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Die Hard 2, Die Hard 3, Die
Oh,
Hard
right.
4.
BBC One, BBC Two, BBC Three,
Sure.
BBC Four, BBC Five.
Yeah.
BBC6.
Honestly, The Village was another one that M. Night made. But if you haven't seen The Happening, that is a journey into the mind of a terrible director who has no idea what he's doing.
The
Just watch that
Happening.
film.
What's that one?
It's about this event where people just randomly start killing themselves. And they're like throwing themselves off buildings, or they're feeding themselves to lions, which is one of
Oh.
the funniest bits of the movie. There's a moment where Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I can't remember the name of the actor, he gathers all these people together and he says, we believe an event may be happening. And they all look gravely at each other like, whew. I'm like, what announcement is that? We believe an event may be happening. What, Christmas? Festivus? What do you mean an event
For the
may be
rest of
happening?
us?
And it proceeds from there. And the twist is that the trees are fighting back by releasing this pheromone that causes people to kill themselves. And some of the acting in it's got Marky Mark in it, who's the worst actor in Hollywood. It's just a fucking clusterfuck of bad, and it's so funny to watch. Go watch it.
Well, he may
right
be the
away.
worst actor in Hollywood, but Good Vibrations by Marky Mark is a banger. If you've
It's got Marky Mark in it. What are you talking about? It's got Mark Wahlberg in it.
yeah, that's
He's
Marky
the main
Mark.
guy.
Yeah.
Marky
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. It was a
you're
throwback to the late
It's
80s,
also got,
early
oh my
90s.
God, it's Zoe Deschanel,
Yeah,
our
yeah,
favorite, and
Yeah.
John Leguizamo, who played
John
fucking
Leguizamo,
Luigi back in the day in the original Super Mario
We've come
Brothers
full
movie.
circle, baby. This is a multi-episode
Is
callback.
John Leguizamo and Miami the guy who plays the Hulk in Marvel?
That is Mark Ruffalo, just for the
Oh,
record.
right, okay, Mark Ruffalo. Sorry,
A bunch
my
of Oh my god, I love that. Such a long list of watch lists for you guys to cover this week. All right, we're done. Thank you, everyone.
Right.
You can follow Triforce on Spotify to get new episodes as soon as they come out every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.